Hello everyone, welcome to the MudRoom, our free Uncommon Sense parenting class. How is everyone doing today? I hope your May is off to a great start. Yesterday was actually my 35th birthday, and I'm really looking forward to my late 30s. I was 30 when the pandemic hit, so I kind of feel like my early 30s were sort of hijacked, you know? I had just gotten to the point where my kids were older and they were able to manage themselves a little bit more. We had the financial stability to start having more experiences with them, spending more time traveling, and then boom, everything shut down. And it wasn't really until like the last year-ish that things really started to open up again. But then the economy and inflation, and you all know the shit that's been going on. So I am really hoping that the next 5 years are a lot more fun. Fingers crossed. All right, so today's topic, how to balance family and work over the summer. I know this is hard whether you work from home or you're in the home with your kids or you work outside the home. Either way, it's a difficult balance. There's no easy, just different kinds of hard. So I wanted to talk about some strategies that we can use so that we don't burn out and we actually get to make some memories with our kids this summer. Before we get into it, however, if we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Alana Robinson and I'm a parenting coach for parents of toddlers, preschoolers, and kindergartners. I help you understand why your kids are misbehaving and how to fix it without stickers, counting to 3, or losing your shit. I am your host here on the MudRoom. I'm also the host of the Parenting Posse Facebook group, and I'm the creator of the Parentability program, where I help you raise well-behaved kids who listen. While you're here, if you do me a wee solid and like, subscribe, or leave a comment, whatever the platform that you're using lets you do, I'd greatly appreciate it because it helps other parents know that this content is valuable and find me when they need me. Okay, so do you ever feel like you have to choose between work and family time in the summer? As a parent of young children, you know how precious and fleeting these moments are. You want to enjoy the summer with your kids, but you also have responsibilities and deadlines at work. So how can you balance both without feeling guilty or stressed? As a mom who runs a company from home, I've definitely dealt with this, and I have some insights to share with you. I learned how to balance work and family time in the summer, and how you can too, by following some simple strategies and principles. So today I'd like to show you how to create a summer schedule that works for you and your family, how to set some boundaries and expectations with your boss and coworkers, and how to make the most of your quality time with your kids so that you can have some fun and relaxation for yourself too. Let me help you have a relaxing and peaceful summer vacation with your kids without sacrificing your work performance or your sanity. So let's start with setting up your summer routine or schedule. Having a routine or schedule is extremely important in the summer for a few reasons. First, having a schedule helps you and your kids manage your time, prioritize important tasks, and maintain predictability. I can't tell you how many parents come to me complaining about how their children function really well during the school year, whether they're in school, daycare, or at home. But then summer comes and everything just seems to fall apart. Sound familiar? It's generally because during the school year, again, whether your children are in school or not, there tends to be outside demands that we plan our lives around, and they tend to be somewhat predictable. The structure of our routine is pretty set. Mondays, we do these things. Tuesdays, we have this activity. You know how it goes. But then summer comes and everything changes. Daycares often change their hours, or they combine rooms because they have fewer children in care over the summer, or they change their routine to take better advantage of the good weather. Schools are obviously closed, so kids are either home with looser routines or they're in day camps that change every week. Kids who've been home year-round, their activities have changed or shut down for the summer. They're expected to spend more time outside. So no matter what, the structure they've relied on to get them through the dark days of winter is disrupted in some way. And while as adults, this isn't really a big issue, for kids it can be absolutely terrifying. Routines provide predictability, and predictability helps children use less energy just trying to keep up. So they're able to stay regulated longer, which means they behave better. Your kids need to know when you'll be working and when you'll be available to them. They need to know when they're expected to play independently and when there's special activities or outings planned and when you're running errands with them. And by no, I don't necessarily mean like a timestamp. They don't need to know that you're leaving for the grocery store at 1:45 and it's going to take an hour. They just need to know the order of events. The first thing we're going to be doing is eating lunch. Then we're going to take a nap. And then when you wake up from your nap, we're going to the grocery store. Then you can play till daddy gets home. This does a few things. First, it helps them budget their energy, and it helps prevent them from making their own plan. Kids like to have a plot, again, because it provides predictability. So if they don't know what's going to happen in their day, they will plan for their best case scenario. Like, today we're going to spend all day at the beach, and then mom and dad will take me for pizza, and then I can stay up late watching number blocks or whatever their perfect day would be. And when that reality doesn't match their plan, they've budgeted their energy for that. That's where we see meltdowns. So by letting them know what the plan actually is, we keep everyone on the same page and we give them the information that they need to budget their energy. This also helps us set boundaries so that we have the predictability of knowing, okay, they're going to be playing from after breakfast till about 11:30 when I take lunch. So I can plan my work day or household responsibilities around that. It also gives me a chance to look at any deadlines or projects and see, is it actually possible for me to accomplish them in the time I've planned to have available? If not, how can I either rearrange our routine so that I don't become overwhelmed or unemployed? And that might mean working after they go to bed for a bit, or like me, I looked at my summer plans and realized that there's a week that my husband will be gone and I have a workshop to promote that week, which means I need to dedicate more time to work that week. So that let me know that that was a good week to put my kids in day camp so that I'd have more headspace to focus. My favorite way to plan a summer routine is with visuals. I like to use individual visuals on a strip of Velcro on the wall, and every night before I go to bed, I set it up for our next day so that when my kids wake up, our day is right there in front of them and they can see right away what the plan is. This also allows me to make the day more predictable without it having to be static. I work from home. My kids are home most of the summer. This summer they'll be in day camp for 1 week, at a sleepaway camp another week, and at my mom's for 1 week. So the other 5 weeks of summer, they're with me, which means not every day is going to look the same, but with visuals, that's okay. If something changes, I can actually call them over to their visual schedule and point out what needs to change and why, and then show them how it's changing. As the day goes along, we pull visuals off that represent tasks or activities that are already done. So after breakfast, for instance, I'll remove the icon for breakfast. So the next item on our to-do list is always at the front of the line. At the beginning of summer, I also usually sit down with my kids and make what I call our summer bucket list. So we sit down and we brainstorm ideas of what we'd like to do this summer. Like go to the beach, go to a water park, spend time at our cottage, visit friends, visit the cave system near us, go to the county fair, have a Nerf fight, whatever it is that would make their summer feel special. And then I make visuals for those and I put them on a little Velcro board that I've made from a dollar store cookie sheet. And as we do those things, as I schedule them into our days, they come off the board, they go onto our schedule, and then they get put away. So my kids can see very concretely that what they wanted to do is actually happening. Okay, but what about setting boundaries with your boss and coworkers? Whether you work from the home, outside the home, or your work is home, maintaining open communication with your coworkers or your family members is really, really important. Again, predictability makes everybody feel safe. The nice thing about having your daily routine or weekly schedule set up is that it allows you to communicate that with your boss or coworkers so they know when you'll be available and when you won't. If you work outside the home, that may be having a conversation about when your kids have to be dropped off and picked up from care, and if that is changing from your typical school routine. If you need to be able to work different schedules on certain days or some work from home flex time. If you work from home, that might mean explaining that while during the school year you typically take your lunch from noon to 1, during the summer you'll be taking it from like 11 to noon because your kids eat earlier. Or maybe certain days you'll be taking a break to drop them at an activity or a play date and making that time up on either other days or other times. For me, as a work from home parent who works for myself, I'm able to communicate to my team that during the summer I am off duty by 4 p.m. for the most part. I will check in with my clients, but I'm not available for anything administrative unless it's like a real emergency. I also tend to work earlier during the summer because during the school year, my husband takes my kids to school in the morning and I sleep later because I'm a night owl. But during the summer, he gets up and he goes to work and he leaves the kids here. So I'm up earlier, therefore my work hours tend to shift. Keeping the communication open helps you to prioritize what projects and tasks really need to get done during your work hours. It builds respect and trust with your work team, and it helps avoid misunderstandings, conflicts, and resentment. Making sure everyone is on the same page can really gain you respect, maintain your reputation, and keep your performance level really secure. So when you do have family time scheduled in, you can be present and take full advantage of it. Putting the phone away and really engaging with your family when it's family time can strengthen your bond and meet everyone's needs, which means when you're at work, you're not fretting over not being engaged with your kids. When it comes to kids, it's really quality over quantity. They'd much rather go for a half-day trip to the zoo and have you in it with them than go for the full day and have you distracted on your phone the whole time. And spending time with your kids doesn't have to be all like zoo trips and days at the beach, though those are a ton of fun and I highly recommend working them into your summer somewhere. I like to schedule in like book time with my boys. So after breakfast, before I get to work, I sit down and I read just one chapter of a novel to them. This makes sure that they're getting in some reading time. We have a common story we're all following, so we have something to talk about, which can be difficult when you're together all the time. And it gives us some co-regulation time so we start our day off feeling really bonded and calm. I also schedule in swim time with my kids. My oldest son is an avid swimmer and I really enjoy it, and so does my younger one. So I schedule in swim time in the afternoon to give the son a chance to heat the water in our pool. And for that hour, I shut everything down and we just play in the water together. I do laps, they do diving competitions. Sometimes I literally just sit on the deck and video them doing crazy jumps. On days that it like pours rain, I'll schedule in a movie break and we can all snuggle up and eat popcorn together and watch a movie. So while those big activities are great, they don't have to and shouldn't be the bulk of your summer. But by scheduling them in and having them visually represented to your kids, they're much less likely to bust into your office like the Kool-Aid man and interrupt a work call. Or they're much less likely to be whiny and sad during the week when you drop them off at camp because they know they'll have you on the weekend. And remember to take photos and get souvenirs of activities together because those are really tangible evidence that we did these things. And finally, don't forget to schedule in some you time too. Put your oxygen mask on first is a cliche because it's true. If we're feeling overwhelmed, overworked, and pulled in a million directions, so too will our kids. When we make sure that our tank is filled, it allows us to remain calm, which means our kids will feel safer and more independent as well. One way that I do this is by scheduling in mommy tea time. So this is time that I put on our schedule every morning, afternoon, and evening. And it's just, 20 to 30 minutes for me to sit and drink my tea hot. Often I'll journal. My mouth isn't cooperating today. Or I'll read, or I'll play solitaire during this time too, because I may be 35, but I've got like some big 90-year-old energy sometimes. And that 30 minutes to just sit and drink tea is so important to my mental health. And because my kids can see it's playtime on their schedule, I know that I'm going to get that 30 minutes uninterrupted, at least for the most part. On the weekends, when my husband is home, I schedule in mommy pool time, where I can just put on my suit and float around without worrying about any kids jumping on me or splashing me. And I try to coincide it with them doing something with dad. So it doesn't have to be big things. Small, consistent things are far more important. But also scheduling you days, just like kids outings. This isn't going to be the bulk of your summer, but like the Wednesday that my kids are going to be in day camp, I'm going to the spa with my bestie for a few hours. They're attending with their best friend, and their best friend's dad offered to do pick up and drop off that day, which gives me a bit more breathing room. The week they're going to be at overnight camp, I'm going to our cottage all by myself just to spend a few days with myself. The week they're at my mom's, my husband and I are going to go on a little road trip for like 3 or 4 days. Taking this time for yourself not only is good for self-regulation, but it models self-care for our kids. It shows them that taking time for themselves really helps us cope with stress and that it's not selfish. Balancing work and family time in the summer is not impossible if you follow some really simple strategies and principles. By creating a summer schedule, setting boundaries and expectations at work, and making the most of your quality time with your kids, and having some fun and relaxation for you too, you can have a really relaxing and peaceful summer vacation with your kids without sacrificing your work performance or your sanity. So I hope these tips and insights have helped you see how I balance work and family time in the summer, and how you can too. If you want to learn more about how to balance work and family time in the summer and all year round, I have something special for you. I invite you to join my Parentability program, where I help parents of toddlers, preschoolers, and kindergartners get through the day without tantrums, meltdowns, or defiance. And in this program, you'll get access to all of my proven methods, tools, and support to help you create a peaceful and harmonious home environment for you and for your kids. You'll also get to connect with other like-minded parents who are facing the same challenges and successes as you. And you can find more info at the link in my description. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a fantastic May, and I'll see you in a couple weeks for an interview with Talia Shapiro. Talia is an adult sleep coach who helps parents get their own sleep back after having kids, and I'm incredibly excited to introduce you to her.